This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuff File program with Peter Anthony Holder.
Actor Kevin Sorbo is probably best known for playing the title role in the television series Hercules. But what a lot of people may not know is that he later had an aneurysm and suffered 3 strokes. Today, Kevin is fully recovered and is now a spokesperson for the American Stroke Association. He is also the author of True Strength, My Journey from Hercules to Mere Mortal and How Nearly Dying Saved My Life. Kevin joins us on the line right now from California. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, how you doing?
Oh, just tickety-boo. Thanks for being on the program with us. So, when this happened to you, I think the title basically says it, but when this happened to you, I guess you couldn't be prepared for this. I mean, you were a healthy specimen. Didn't this happen to you in the gym?
Well, it was a long road to actually happen. It was I lived in New Zealand for 7 years. That's where I shot the TV series Hercules, and it was near the end of season 5, and I was coming back to shoot a movie here in the States. I was going to shoot a movie in Atlanta for Universal Studios, and about 3 months left of that last season 5, I started getting weird, really achy, throbbing shoulder pains. It was killing me, and I was getting cold fingers. My fingers were cold and numb, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And when I got back to the States, before I started the movie, I went and saw my doctor, and he said, you got a lump in your shoulder, and I want to get it biopsied. At the time, he thought it was Hodgkin's. He didn't know for sure, but he didn't tell me this till after everything happened. And when I went to see my chiropractor, he was working on my shoulder, and he cracked my neck, something that I don't like to have done. He's never done in 8 years. And I asked him why he did it, and he said, I just felt that you needed it. Well, within minutes, I suffered my strokes. And it was later found that the lump in my shoulder and my left subclavicle was an aneurysm, and had been throwing off clots slowly over a 3-4 month period. That's why I was getting the numbness and the achy feelings. But the combination of my neck being snapped sent a couple of the clots up into my brain, and then at that time the aneurysm opened up wide open and sent hundreds of clots on my arms. My arm was purple, and I was dizzy, and I couldn't speak, and my vision was gone, and it was not fun. And I spent the next 2 years living personal hell, and it took me 3 years to really feel normal again, whatever you want to call normal.
Okay, so 3 years to get back to normal, as you're saying.
Yeah, I still have repercussions. I still have a 10% loss of vision in both eyes. I have dizzy spells. When I get overly tired, I get what I call like phantom stroke feelings in a way where I still, the vertigo comes back and all that, but I have to get really tired to have that happen. I obviously went back down to New Zealand. I couldn't do the movie I was going to shoot in Atlanta, of course. I went through 4 months of rehab to walk again, to learn to walk again. Then went down to New Zealand to start season 6 on Hercules, and I was working 14-hour days, and I was down to 1 hour a day when I got back, because that's all I could handle, and slowly worked my way back up to about 8 or 9 hours after season 7 started.
Well, with all that you went through, was it wise to go back to Hercules at the time?
Well, probably not. Luckily, the studio hid it from everybody. They let out that I had an aneurysm. That was all on ET and, Access Hollywood and all that stuff. But they didn't let out about the strokes, and I'm grateful for that because, number one, I was certainly worried about my health, but, I wanted to have a career. I think that if the strokes came out at that time, it probably would have definitely killed my career. It hurt me enough the way it was dropping out of that movie in the eyes of Hollywood. So, It was a long road to come back, but it gave me hope. It gave me inspiration. It gave me something to look forward to go on the set. And they did stunt casting, bringing a lot of people that were well known, and they did a lot of clip shows where they showed, remember the time I fought the Hydra, and it cut to a clip from season 1 or something like that, just to sort of fill in the hour to keep it going. And I worked my way up slowly. They didn't push me, and they couldn't have pushed me. There's not only so much I could do. Like I said, I went from 14 hours a day to 1 hour a day. Then maybe by the third month, I was up to 2 hours a day, and by the next month, I slowly worked it back up to where it was a manageable schedule for me. But it was a long way for me to get past what I was going through.
Now, that doctor who cracked your neck for you,
yeah,
which started all of this, if he hadn't done that, would you essentially have been a ticking time bomb?
Potentially, sure. I think the argument goes both ways. He could have been blamed for sending the clots into my brain, because and now after all these years of being part of this and studying it and finding out about it, the neck manipulation that chiropractors do cause, on average, at least 40 strokes a year in America. So, I've met a lot of people that have suffered these things. I spoke for the American Heart Association down in Palm Beach earlier this year. I met 7 survivors of that, and I met the widows of 2 men that died because of stroke. the manipulation of the neck. But certainly the aneurysm was there, and I don't know if it's ticking time bomb in terms of giving me strokes, but certainly it would have opened up like it did anyway, and that would have been okay. But maybe I wouldn't have to go through the strokes I did, because once you suffer brain damage, not a good thing, And like I said, I'm fortunate that I was at the level of physical fitness that I was. I mean, at the time I was in better shape. At 38 years old, I was in better shape than most 20-year-old athletes. I mean, I was in good shape, and I was everything opposite of what doctors look for in potential stroke victims. I don't have obesity. I'm not diabetic. I don't smoke. I don't drink. All kinds of things. I don't have high blood pressure. I'm everything opposite. So it was kind of a fluke. I was an anomaly for these guys.
So flash forward, you're now a spokesman for the American Stroke Association, and you've written this book, True Strength. What made you decide, or when did you decide to do both of these things?
Well, my wife for years said you really should write a book about what happened to you. I mean, you are a celebrity. People know you. People that knew me from Hercules or even Andromeda, because I went on to shoot a Gene Roddenberry series called Andromeda for 5 years after that, up there in Vancouver, actually. And I've obviously proven that I've gotten healthier. I've shot 60 movies since then as well. So I'm able to do the work. I'm able to do the jobs. But my wife said, this is the time for you to write it, though. You should write it. She bugged me for years, as I said. And I finally said, you're right. This could be inspirational for people. And she coached every step along the way. And we had a lot of, I talked to a lot of people that said, hey, I want you to write a small chapter. I think we got about 6 or 7 small chapters in there from people on the set of Hercules that were dear friends, my mom, my wife. I mean, everybody wrote a quick chapter to talk about what I went through and the changes they saw in me. And it has proven to be, I'm glad I did it, because I've done a lot of book signings, I've done a lot of readings, and I've met a lot of people that not only have gone through strokes, but maybe they had car accidents or they got cancer or whatever it may be. But it's that, that unseen road that we all are going to be forced to go on one day. And the title True Strength came from that, because it was sort of a play on Hercules, because let's face it, my stunt guys made me look like I was a big stud. And true strength really comes to finding your own true strength when adverse things happen to you in your life and how you handle those things.
You mentioned you did Andromeda after all this had taken place, but was there a period of time there when you were really concerned about getting back into things and that Hollywood wouldn't turn its back on you?
It was initially that first year was by far the worst down in New Zealand, because it was very slow to recover. It was very slow. I mean, everything that I had going on was just horrible. So it was during the second year where I would all of a sudden feel good for 2 days, and then feel then bad for a month, and good for a week, and then bad for a month. And I knew that I was making ground and things were getting better. So the fact that Universal Studios kept Hercules going, I think, was, and being in New Zealand, was a buffer for me away from the Hollywood paparazzi, so to speak. So it was really, once I got past that first year, I felt, okay, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to make it. Things are going to work out all right.
You mentioned sometimes you have phantom feelings of the stroke. Does it scare you that this could happen again?
No, because I know that it was a fluky thing. I mean, do you live in fear because of it? Yeah, for a while I did. I mean, the doctors kind of warned me, that because I started suffering panic anxiety attacks. If I stubbed my toe, I said, "Oh my God, I got cancer." And I was warned about some of these things because they've worked on the stroke victims to see what's happened to them and what their symptoms are afterwards. And you go through all that. You go through why me. You go through all the anger. You go through all the frustration. You go through all the railing against the world when it's not the world's fault, but that's sort of our human nature. We blame other people for our failures when they actually have nothing to do with it. But it was a tough road. But I think that's another reason why I wrote the book. I wanted people to say, you know what, you're going to get all kinds of things from family and friends and doctors and whoever, and people are going to set you limitations. Don't let other people set you limitations. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your recovery. My wife gave me a mantra to say every day to myself in the mirror, every day I got up, I'd look at myself and say, I'm getting better, I'm getting stronger. It sounds corny, but it worked. I looked at myself every day and said, you're getting better, you're getting stronger. I would just repeat that all the time and just believe that I would get better. I had to, because I said, there's just no way I'm going to live my life like this.
You mentioned your wife several times. She sounds like an amazingly strong person.
She is. I mean, we're both Christians. I mean, it's something that she's more of a pusher of the faith than I am. I'm a very quiet Christian about it, but I mean, I'll talk to anybody about it. I've got plenty of atheist friends. We've had wonderful debates and conversations about it. We don't get angry at each other. I'm a live and let live kind of guy, but I grew up that way, and I've always believed that there's something out there that's sort of watching over all of us. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, then I think I'm on the right path.
Well, even though we didn't know a lot about it at the time it was taking place, I think when fans realize what has happened to you, they'll be very, very happy that you came out of this on the other side relatively unscathed. So it's great to hear. The book is called True Strength, My Journey from Hercules to Mere Mortal and How Nearly Dying Saved My Life. And I thank you very much, Kevin, for taking the time to be on the program with us.
I appreciate it, and please let people know how to get in contact with me. It'd be great. And I got about 8 movies in the can done. I got 2 of them coming out this year, another 3 coming out next year, and I leave next week to shoot one in New Orleans. So, knock on wood, I'm staying busy.
Well, what's the next thing you have coming out?
I'm shooting a faith-based movie down in New Orleans. It's called God Isn't Dead, and ironically, I'm playing a university professor who's an atheist. So it's going to be fun for me, and it's a pretty cool part. It's a wonderful script.
Well, good thing you had some of those friends so you can use them for research.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Actor Kevin Sorbo. His book is True Strength, My Journey from Hercules to Mere Mortal and How Nearly Dying Saved My Life. You can check out his website at kevinsorbo.net, and you can go to my website at thestufffile.com and look on the What's On page for this show, which is show number 0165, and you'll find links to Kevin's site. You'll also find links to Amazon.com and Amazon.ca, where you can order his book directly.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuff File program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestufffile.com. Stuff is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestufffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.